It's a cold world. Wear a sweater, man. It's a cold, cold game out here. Shedeur Sanders officially benched for Deshaun Watson, who will be getting the start versus the Chicago Bears. I will be live streaming the game. Deshaun Watson's going to get the start ahead of Shedeur Sanders. Very unfortunate. Shedeur Sanders has outperformed this dude at training camp. Once again, even today, Shedeur Sanders outperformed Deshaun Watson. Today, had the throw of the day to Isaiah Bond. We're going to get into all of it, man. But, two going to have to keep fighting. You're going to have to keep fighting. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Share the channel. Hit the bell notification.
It is an absolutely cold, unforgiving world out there in the National Football League, and the business of football has just reared its incredibly ugly head in Berea, Ohio. What happens when a young, hungry quarterback completely outplays a highly paid veteran during training camp, only to be told to grab a clipboard and watch from the sidelines? We are officially witnessing the absolute peak of front office politics. The Cleveland Browns have made a shocking, highly controversial decision. Shedeur Sanders has officially been benched for the preseason opener, and Deshaun Watson will be taking the starting snaps against the Chicago Bears. The tape doesn't lie, the statistics don't lie, but apparently the money talks the loudest. You are locked into Gridiron Verdict, the absolute, undisputed authority on the raw, unvarnished truth behind the biggest cover-ups, positional battles, and locker room agendas in professional football. Make sure you absolutely smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and let's dive directly into the incredibly shady quarterback politics that have the entire dog pound demanding answers. To truly comprehend the sheer, mind-numbing absurdity of this depth chart decision, you have to look directly at the incredibly stark contrast unfolding during the 11-on-11 team periods. The veteran establishment desperately wanted this to be a quiet, smooth transition where Deshaun Watson seamlessly reclaimed his throne and proved his massive contract was finally worth it. Instead, Shedeur Sanders has been putting on an absolute clinic in aggressive, high-efficiency vertical passing. Let's look at the raw numbers from the latest practice session. Sanders operated with flawless
Again, today, you want to talk about checking the boxes in a positive fashion. I thought the execution in the final, whether you want to call it end of half, 2 minute, however you want to phrase that, go ahead and get points on the long drives. I thought the execution toward the end of practice was absolutely fantastic by both Shedeur Sanders, his operation with the ones, and then Deshaun Watson today with the twos.
Yeah, so we call it don't lose points, right? So you don't have a lot of time on the clock. The situation was 24-22, you were down.
Hosier, finishing the day with an incredibly sharp 13 of 21 passing performance, securing a beautiful touchdown with absolutely zero interceptions. But he wasn't just dumping the ball off to the running backs. He was actively pushing the football down the field. Sanders unleashed the undisputed throw of the entire afternoon. A breathtaking, deep ball rainbow that dropped perfectly into the breadbasket of Isaiah Bond, who laid out completely to secure the catch. It was the exact type of elite, franchise-altering throw that proves Sanders is the best quarterback on the roster. But what happened next on the adjacent field completely exposed the glaring double standard currently paralyzing the Cleveland coaching staff. While Sanders was busy dropping absolute dimes and lighting up the highlight reel, Deshaun Watson was executing a purely pedestrian, highly conservative game plan. Watson finished his team period going 12 of 17, completely failing to find the end zone and throwing 0 touchdowns. It was a perfectly fine, deeply average performance. But average does not win you a highly contested quarterback battle when the young guy is actively dominating the first-team defense. Yet, despite being completely outperformed on a daily basis, the front office officially announced that Watson will be the starting quarterback against the Chicago Bears. The absolute, undeniable reality of the situation is that this decision...
You got backs who are back from being injured. This offense as a whole has to come together. Now, obviously, it starts with the quarterbacks, and they were sharp today. But again, going into, I would not worry so much about what the quarterbacks, because they're both going to play over the next couple weeks. It's about this operation around the quarterbacks. Can they get it going as well?
Yeah, and Todd Monken does want to see whichever quarterback it's going to be for around a half. He wants to get them really a 2-minute drill as part of the work. As far as the starters go, he's thinking about a series or basically however long the Chicago Bears keep their starters on the field. Okay, so that is the plan. They're going to fly out tomorrow on Thursday because they're going to...
...has absolutely nothing to do with football and everything to do with protecting a massive $230 million guaranteed investment. The front office is absolutely terrified of admitting they made a catastrophic mistake, so they are actively forcing the coaching staff to play the veteran. However, if you peel back the layers of front office politics, you can see the incredibly strategic, highly calculated master plan being orchestrated by head coach Todd Monken. Monken is a deeply experienced defensive architect, and he completely understands the impossible situation he has been placed in. To appease the front office while still conducting a legitimate evaluation, Monken has effectively split the preseason in half. Deshaun Watson will receive the starting nod.
That is a hell of a throw and catch from Shedeur Sanders to Isaiah Bond. And Shedeur Sanders was good on the day. Once again, 13 of 21, 1 touchdown, no picks. Deshaun Watson, 12 of 17, no touchdowns, no picks. Okay, so Shedeur Sanders outplayed him again today. But this is the news that came out, courtesy of Yahoo Sports. Deshaun Watson will start the Browns' first preseason game on Saturday against the Bears. The team announced Cleveland plans to start Shedeur Sanders the following week against the Bills. So, at this point, it is what it is, man. Deshaun Watson probably going to be QB1, and it's strictly about money at this point. It's about money.
And the primary focus against the Chicago Bears. But Shedeur Sanders has already been promised the starting role the following week against the Buffalo Bills. Monken explicitly stated that he wants to see both quarterbacks play for roughly an entire half of football. But more importantly, he is demanding that both players execute a high-pressure, 2-minute drill before the halftime whistle blows. Monken isn't just looking for flashy throws. He is actively testing their mental endurance, their clock management, and their ability to operate under extreme, unscripted chaos. And that specific demand for operational perfection reveals exactly what the coaching staff is truly evaluating behind closed doors. The local media and the casual fans are completely obsessed with completion percentages and deep balls, but Todd Monken is evaluating something entirely different. As the coaching staff recently explained, operating this new Cleveland offense requires calculus before the snap and addition after the snap. The quarterback is entirely responsible for getting the offense into the correct play, identifying the Mike linebacker, setting the protections for a completely revamped defensive line, and seamlessly directing traffic. Monken wants to see how these quarterbacks manage the incredibly chaotic substitution periods. He wants to see if they can properly utilize dynamic young playmakers like Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston in space. Furthermore, this preseason opener will be a massive test for the coaching staff itself. With Todd Monken calling the offense from the sideline and Mike Ruttenberg dialing up the defense, the communication flow between the headsets and the quarterback helmet must be absolutely flawless. But an elite quarterback and a brilliant defensive coordinator mean absolutely nothing if the perimeter weapons fail to create separation. And right now, the battle for the final wide receiver spots on the 53-man roster has escalated into an absolute bloodbath. The top of the depth chart is firmly locked in, but the back end of the receiver room is experiencing unprecedented turbulence. The coaching staff is incredibly anxious regarding the health and availability of Cedric Tillman, who is currently battling through a highly concerning injury window. The next 10 days are absolutely critical for Tillman to prove he can stay on the field and utilize his massive frame in the red zone. If he falters, there is an entire pack of hungry, highly explosive athletes ready to steal his job. Guys like Gage Larvadain and Luke Floria are consistently making jaw-dropping plays every single day at practice, completely refusing to back down from the starting cornerbacks. Throw in the physical toughness of Malachi Corley and the special teams value of Tylan Wallace, and you have a receiver room that is an absolute pressure cooker. Every single preseason rep is heavily magnified, and a single dropped pass could easily result in a player getting cut. This intense, high-stakes pressure perfectly translates to the highly complex situational periods that concluded the latest practice session. Todd Monken intentionally backed the offense into a corner, executing a brutal, don't-lose-points drill. The scenario was incredibly specific. The offense was down 24-22 with minimal time remaining on the clock. The absolute only goal was to surgically march down the field, secure field goal range, and perfectly manage the timeouts without taking a catastrophic sack or turning the ball over. And in a massive sigh of relief for the coaching staff, Both Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson executed the drill with absolute surgical precision. They hit their checkdowns, they forced the receivers to immediately get out of bounds, and they perfectly set up the Hurricane field goal unit to successfully steal the victory. It was the absolute cleanest 2-minute operation the Browns have displayed all camp, proving that the mental processing of the entire offense is finally beginning to catch up to their physical talent. We are officially standing at an absolute, undeniable precipice regarding the future of this incredibly talented football team. The era of blindly protecting massive, catastrophic contracts and nursing bruised veteran egos is violently colliding with the undeniable, explosive reality of a rising superstar. Deshaun Watson may have secured the starting nod for the preseason opener, but Shedeur Sanders is actively breathing down his neck, completely refusing to concede a single inch of ground. When the real bullets start flying in Chicago, the practice field illusions will completely evaporate, and the true starting quarterback will be undeniably exposed under the stadium lights. The Browns are on the clock, and the whole world is watching to see if they will ultimately trust the undeniable talent or fall victim to the sunk cost fallacy. I want to hear your absolute raw, unfiltered thoughts down in the comments below. Do you genuinely believe the front office is actively forcing the coaching staff to play Deshaun Watson to justify his contract? And who has genuinely earned the right to take the very first snap of the regular season? Drop your absolute best, most aggressive takes below, and I will see you all in the very next deep dive.